those member state competition and antitrust laws would immediately recognize that vertically integrated monopoly and the economic distortions that come with it. But for some reason, with China coming in with Costco, that's not part of the debate.
Jacob, what is this debate that we've seen over the past few days? What does it tell us, if anything, about public and political attitudes towards German business ties with China? What can we read into this?
Yeah, I mean, I think we can read into this the position that Germany in particular is in, sort of between a rock and a hard place, and that you have these big German companies that, you know, when you look at the EU investment into China over the last few years, the vast majority of it is coming from just a small handful of companies. Most of them are the big German ones. So there's clearly a lot more economic dependence and you know, desire for deepening economic ties from these big German companies. But then on the flip side, you know, you have a lot of pushback in Germany because of the broader geopolitical situation, plus concerns about over-reliance. But also you have the EU, where, you know, a lot of the EU member states have a very different relationship with China and very different views on China than what Germany does.
We'll have to leave it there. Jacob Gunter with the Mercator Institute. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, the Russian invasion of Ukraine unleashed an energy crisis across Europe that won't be solved anytime soon. Some households are now keen to provide for themselves. They're pushing up demand for small solar cells and even mini wind turbines. Take a look.
Finally, the right fasteners have arrived to this home just outside of Leipzig. Jürgen Loos and his son can finally add a second panel to their solar power system on the balcony. It's connected to their electrical system and can produce 520 kilowatt hours of power each year. It cost the family around 1,000 euros. The current power crisis convinced the family to invest in the system.
You
try to save some money, but that money just sits around in the bank. So you might as well invest in a solar system. The solar power system was produced by local startup Priwatt. Their order books are full, and it's hard to keep up with demand. Since Russia's invasion of Ukraine, we've had a huge uptick in demand for our products. It's unmanageable how many people are sending in orders. That caught us off guard in a certain respect. And it's not just solar panels for balconies. The demand for mini wind power units also has tailwind. Thomas Bremer has one of the units on his roof in addition to solar panels. He uses it to charge a battery so he can use the power whenever he wants and save money. We use around 3,500 kilowatt hours for our house. With a price of around 50 cents per kilowatt hour, that means 1,750 euros. So monetarily, we're much more independent. The manufacturer says they keep hearing complaints from power companies that their profits keep falling, and that they're warning their customers from installing the units. There are also some bureaucratic hurdles in Germany. The German government says it wants to cut some of the red tape, but not all. And the flood of orders is hard to navigate, says Kai Toya from Priwatt. The global chip shortage was a challenge, followed by the coronavirus lockdowns in China and the supply chain difficulties. And now we're running out of raw material because of the high demand. The cost for the mini power plants may be on the rise, but Jürgen Loos is eager to see if they're still worth the investment.
Well, it seemed like a joke when Amazon pitched the idea several years ago, but companies are getting serious about drone delivery, and the competition is heating up. Also, it's not just Amazon that's leading the push.
Is it a bird or is it a plane? Well, it's a drone with an urgent delivery. US retailers are battling for a top spot in the airborne shipping market. But while Google and Amazon are still testing new devices and solutions, retail giant Walmart is already delivering.
So eggs
actually is one that I order pretty often because with cooking you run out of eggs a lot, and we like eggs and bacon for breakfast.
Walmart is planning to extend its drone delivery service to 34 states by the end of the year, potentially serving up to 4 million customers. The company believes the service is an opportunity to beat Amazon on speed, especially after quick same-day shipping options picked up sharply during the pandemic.
Do you want me to go?
Customers seem to appreciate drone deliveries as an alternative to quick trips to the supermarket. But while the convenience is already there, the delivery process could still use some refinement.
All right. So here we go. Okay. So, oh man, this was not a good one. One made it, let's see, 2, 3. 3 out of 6, and then these 3 did not do as well.
All right, all that for eggs. That's our show. We'll be back later with more. In the meantime, check us out online at dw.com/business. Also on YouTube. We're under the DW News channel. I'm Stephen Beardsley. Thanks for watching.
Traditional agriculture, transformed for tomorrow by e-commerce. Indonesian entrepreneur Sandi helps nearly 400 farmers market their products using online platforms and their own supermarkets. Food going directly from the farm to the consumer.
Made in Germany. In 90 minutes on DW. Can you feel it? Do you like it? Do you want it?
So good! I love it!
Okay, then buckle up, put the pedal to the metal, and let's ride. Rev. On DW. All the harvesters are immigrants. Everything you enjoy eating at home with your family was harvested by people who are being exploited. We can't keep doing what we're doing. We need to become as sustainable as possible, and that's why a green revolution is absolutely necessary.
Europe revealed. The future is being determined now. Our documentary series will show you how people, companies, and countries are rethinking everything and making major changes.
If we don't do something, our children won't be able to enjoy fresh air.
Europe Revealed starts November 3rd on DW.
Turn the old YouTubes on. And there we go. Good morning, YouTube family. The TikTok army is slowly trying to check in. There's normally about 150 people in there. There are 23 people in there. Good morning, Jeff and West Virginia Pappy. Good morning. Let's see here. I will come back to you guys here in a second. Let me make your text bigger. There we go. Now I can see everything. And let's see here. Who was first? Dog and Ball Productions. Dog and Ball. Good morning. First, Bradley. Viking Queen, Lanny, Celia, Catitude, Melody, and the glorious organized Pineapple is in the house doing some moderating for me. Looks like Cool Colt, BK 1008, Miss Melody, Lanny. Didn't I say Lanny already? I did. Lanny is omnipresent this morning. We've got some Allison going on, and I think that's it. We've got Melody Neary. Richard Jackson just showed up. Nice, nice. All right, looks like the YouTubes are filling up. Looks like we got some better numbers on the TikTok side. There we go. Fungus showed up. What the frickin'? Good morning. My life, 69. Good morning, good morning. Let's see here. Butchers be trippin'. Oh, bitches be trippin'. That's hilarious. Good morning. We've got Drayden, West Virginia Pappy. We already talked to you. Second. Bargain Dave. Good morning. Good morning. All right, let's see. Looks like the rooms are full enough as it is. I do have excuse me. I do have my pot of coffee. I will be drinking it out of the old school local prepper mug, the one that started it all. I got my notebooks. I even got a water bottle that I'm gonna have to. If you don't know what that is, you might want to look it up. There you go. I'm gonna be drinking a lot more water with that new water machine. I realized that I have to keep filling it if I want to keep having fresh water. So I'm in the process of gonna force myself to drink water and water and water. I will tell you, it's pretty awesome having coffee that tastes much better now. Very weird. The coffee tastes better, and yeah, the dog seems a little happier. I don't know. There's just some weird. I don't even want to talk about it. There's some weird, very positive effects. Man, it's warm in here. Some positive effects of having that water machine now. Let's see. Lanny says, I am everywhere all at once. Yes, Lanny, that's what omnipresent means. Let's see. Remember to press the YouTube. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Organized Pineapple, for doing that. All right. Looks like we're set. Let's go ahead and get started here, guys. If you were on the TikTok side, I will be showing a lot of images / video today. Today is the 2-hour show. So if you're not on the YouTube channel, get your butts over there. It's Local Prepper, all one word. And it looks just like that right there. You can't miss it. Let's see here. And my nose is doing some weird stuff this morning. So if I pause to blow it or something, just remember that everybody has a nose. It's really, really itchy right now. Okay, so index futures looked like this, and we always open with this just so we can take a look at the markets. This is not a market show, by the way. Let's see here. And the markets opened at 9:30 this morning, and we're going to refresh that. And yeah, the NASDAQ is taking a beating already. The NASDAQ could actually be what crushes the market. It's already down 1.5 and yeah, well, what was its future? Its future was 1.87, so it's not as bad as the future was. We'll just have to keep an eye on these, and as usual, if you're not a member of the Discord, you need to get your ass in the Discord. You can get there by going to the link in my bio and scrolling down to where it says Discord. Taking 1 minute or less to create a profile, and yeah, you're in like Flint. Oh, let's see here. And Enviromama showed up. Good morning, young lady. Good to see you. Rosita showed up. Nice. Nice. Let's see. I've got nothing in the members chat, which is super duper good. So we're going to move off of that. And we're going to move on to gas prices. Let's see. Gas prices today nationally are $3.76.4 cents. They were $3.77.5 cents. So they've gone down a full cent. Have you guys noticed? That the gas prices, they're starting to get as they go down just a little bit, like smaller amounts each time incrementally. Well, that's because you could take all the oil you want out of the strategic reserve, and it's not enough to change these gas prices to the way you want them to be changed by, I don't know, November 8th or something like that. And you guys should be paying attention to that too, because that is directly linked to a lot of the problems that we are having. All right, it's too warm in here for these socks. I don't know why. It is so warm in here. Hold on, I'm opening this window. There we go. May have to open another one. So, October's been a great month for me as far as power goes. Have not had to turn the heat or air conditioner on one time during the month. Miss Melodies, Allison says she's busy packing the house. I guess you're moving, Allison. You didn't tell anybody about that. The group does not know these things. I feel less informed this morning. Cowboys and Commies, good morning, my friend. Good morning. Let's see. Heck yeah, I sleep with the windows open. There you go, Musket. It's just been super duper awesome. It was chillier, you know. What's up, Hicktown, honey? Good morning. Good morning. It was a lot cooler in the beginning of the month. It's like, okay, this is the beginning of winter, but now it's like 75 degrees outside. And it has a lot to do with the rain. And I'm sorry, I'm clicking my pen again. It's going to drive somebody nuts. Let's see here. Hey, Sam, good to see you. Good to see you. Sam's on his way to work right now. Let's see. Okay, and then obviously we're going to close up with the stuff that nobody really cares about, but they like to know about. And I have been a jerk and not shown you guys the screen. There we go. There's those gas prices for you. And then we're going to move on to, let's see, Ohio is rainy, but nice today. Good to go. Good to go. All right, so this is just in passing. I got this morning. I think the headline says it all. Musk tells bankers he plans to close Twitter deal on Friday. And apparently he's planning to get rid of nearly 75% of the company workers, which is okay. If the guy has if the guy has completely reimagined the American space program to the point where he's like sending people to space now, and on basically every week there's a there's a rocket that takes off and lands back here on Earth. If he says that he's going to fire nearly 75%, which is about 7,500 workers, then he must know what the hell he is talking about. He must know. He has to know what he's talking about. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. I foresee Twitter changing drastically, not just from the free speech aspect, but from the aspect of becoming application X. And I think that's what he called it too, where it does everything, where you can do online banking, you can do video stuff. I mean, it's going to be pretty revolutionary if he actually executes his plan. Let's see, Doc Hollywood. Yes, definitely, drain the swamp. I completely agree with you. You know, it does. Yeah, the problem is we'll never get rid of these people. You guys don't understand. I worked for the government for 33 years doing different things. And there's always some scumbag, okay, who doesn't understand how the real world works, yet he's somehow in charge of some component of that piece of real world. You know, it's not a matter of sitting behind a desk. It's not a matter of, you know, a police chief who's never been a beat cop. That's not what this is. This is common sense. This is an ideological change that is about to happen to Twitter. Okay? We're always going to have scumbags. We're always going to have these people that just they try to create their own little echo chamber or safe space, for lack of better words. And they try to control that little echo chamber. And, you know, obviously we know what happens. Somebody comes in, they express a new idea, and they immediately get crushed. Or there's some kind of dissent, and that person gets destroyed. Their life gets destroyed. Well, I think what's happening is now the what do they say? The chickens are coming home to roost. You know, I'm not sure I got that right, but I think you guys get the picture. So now all these people with all their little echo chambers, they're all screaming bloody murder and wondering what's going to happen to their lives, how their little life is now going to be upended. And all they really had to do is just be good workers and not bring your ideology into the workspace. Yeah, because in the end, it's a business. I think that they're all about to learn a very valuable lesson. Let's see, maybe we can keep track of Twitter employees and make them part of his Mars program. I would never send them to Mars. Why would you want to pollute Mars? I see it every day, like you said. Semper Fi, Pure Bloods. Would be awesome if Twitter just got shut down. No. Twitter is an excellent tool if it's used properly, and if it's not used for politics and social change, and if it's just a place where people can say what they need or want to say. You know, you people forget that we've very intentionally, I won't say unintentionally because at this point nobody's innocent, very intentionally created these online environments that have separated us from the real world and real personal and physical interaction. You know? And I think that regardless if we realize that is the way the world is today. We're never going to go back to the days of Grizzly Adams. There will never be another day, I mean, unless like the apocalypse comes or some crap like that. There's never going to be a day where we're going to be walking around wearing frickin' animal skins on our body to survive. That's not what's going to happen. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens, but I'm sure there'll be like some kind of like class action lawsuit saying that he violated our safe space or some crap like that. It'd be like, Dynamite, you're fired. Goodbye. You know, I'm sure he's just going to come in and have them sign memorandum of agreements or MOAs that basically say, if you want to work here, you're going to sit at your desk, you're going to do your job, you're going to put out, and if you don't, and if you bring any of this social crap in here, then you're freaking gone. I'm sure that's what he'll do. So, what do we got here? You need to click your pen. Do it. I was having a bad day when I brought that up. I'm good, Jeff. It's actually more of a stylus, but it just ended up in my hands. Let's see here. Live and learn. Twitter used to be a great place to connect with people all around the world and get real news. Yes, I used to use Twitter for a lot of news. But, I mean, recently I've noticed that there's been a lot of stuff being pushed into my feed, not just on Twitter, but on YouTube, of Chinese content. Like, I can't even speak the language. What am I looking at? You know what I'm saying? I'm not talking about, like, these cute little videos about, like, things that they make in China that could make our lives better here in America, but you can't find them anywhere here. It's like, oh, that's really cool. You know, we're not talking about the videos of some freaking, some monk up in the hills of whatever province, and he's going to turn these 10 pieces of bamboo into a golden throne. And you watch him and you do it, and you're like, wow, you know, and that's not, we're talking about like flat out, like practical jokes, and just the one that I see the most is the pool. These two guys that play pool well, but it's all in Chinese. And it's like they cheat on each other, and they're like, oh, and then, you know. But they keep popping up, and I keep saying, I don't want to watch that. I don't like that. You know, I don't understand it. I've actually typed to YouTube, why don't you want to watch this? I don't speak Chinese. You know, and it just keeps coming back. So, is that the Jackery box? Yes, that is actually. There's two of them back there. One is none, two is one. If you're interested, then go to the link in my bio, bro. Go to Trusted Products and slide on down to Jackery and check it out. I don't think I have a promo code on that one, but check it out. Jackery doesn't give out promo codes to independent developers. Let's see here. Sammy Ready, Total Trash. Live and Learn used to be just a trash can now. What are you guys talking about? For you mean what? Twitter? Oh, I gotcha. Have you tested Anchor products? Yes, I have. I do have some Anchor products. Anchor makes excellent the small brick type ones. I used to use them on longer hikes, like for 3 or 4 days. I actually have some that are stuffed away someplace near me someplace right now. But yeah, I think the one that I have right now, it's a 2500. And it's about that big. And it's a little thick, a little heavier for long range hiking, but it gets the job done. The problem with a lot of batteries that people don't understand that the more charge they can hold, the longer it takes them to recharge. So they think they're going to buy these little high-powered batteries and then put them on these tiny little solar cells. And then it's like, okay, I'll see you tomorrow. And tomorrow, that's not enough time. But yes, I do have Fungus. I do have some Anchor products. What do we got? Lots of hellos in here on the YouTube side. Let's see. The house is in New York, LP. Yes, still here. Oh, Allison. The Allison that didn't give me any steaks, Allison. I'm having steak tonight, Allison. Now that I put rock and scissor together, I know who you are. Allison's actually one of my Patreons. She's a good girl. Let's see. Already back at home. Good morning. Connie checked in. Let's see. Okay. All right. I think we're ready to go here. Let's see. Nothing new on either one of these sides. So let's go ahead and move on. Current news, guys. It's actually being pushed out today, but it actually happened on the 13th of this month, and it kind of like no one talked about it for some reason. This is the ASPR. This is the Administration for Strategic Preparedness and Response, and it's actually part of the HHS administration. It's part of the Health and Human Services for our illustrious government. As a result of continued consequences of the thing that we can't talk about, on this date and after consultation with the public health officials as necessary, lots of names, Health and Human Services, pursuant to the authority vested in me under Section 319 of the Public Health Service Acts, we do hereby renew the effective October 13th to January 31st determination by former security, blah, 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 blah. Oh, what did they do? They renewed the public health emergency because of the thing that we can't speak about. They renewed it. I'm sorry, didn't the president go, that's all over with, guys. We're done. We beat it. It's gone. Yeah. Has anybody else noticed that that's all they're frickin' talking about this week? Has anybody else noticed that? Has anybody else noticed that they actually drug out somebody from Health and Human Services yesterday during the great the daily press bullshit gaggery? Story of my life, Allison. Has anybody noticed that? And the guy talked for over an hour taking questions. They even asked him, wait a minute, so why are we needing all this? Why are you asking Congress for more money? Why are we going down this path again when the president said it's over? Yeah, because they don't want it to be over. They want you to need them. They screwed up. That's what this is coming down to. What's up, Latinstein? Good morning. That they're trying to cover. It must have some good stuff they're trying to cover up. Which city sent kids home for being sick and shit schools? Which? I don't know. I don't know who did that. Let's see. Which city sent? I didn't mean the bad. That's okay. You're fine. You're fine. Live and learn. You're a human being. You're just fine. Use are toast if you sick fluck. And you're gone. Cha-cha. That didn't take long. 20 minutes flat, and we got our first one, guys. Sorry, bro. I had to change your screen there. Maybe it's time to be an adult and say things that are completely true and not lie like a child. Boom, boom, boom. Bye-bye. Okay, let's see here. Anyway, so yeah, have you noticed that that's all they've been talking about all week long? It's absolutely amazing. They actually preempted it like on Monday. Oh, you're Big Joe. He's going to go get his ching-ching. It's like, okay, so what? Most people have more than he does. They don't need him to build their confidence in a product that they've already proven. Well, they've already proven a lot of things that they didn't want anybody to know about. And that's where we'll leave that one. So, it's interesting. It's always very interesting. I'm actually contemplating. Every time I do one of these live streams, there's always somebody that comes in, or there's a subject that I want to talk about that I can't talk about. And so it's like, man, maybe I will give Rumble $10 a month so that I can do a live stream on Rumble. Maybe I'll do that. I mean, I've got to the point now where Rumble will let you say anything you want to say, but the viewership there sucks, man. They're really not a very good platform, which is really disappointing to me. You know, I can put a video. I mean, and you know, they're worse than YouTube as far as like viewership. And I know I'm just rambling on here, but I mean, statistically, it's a bunch of crap. You know, let's see. Believe me, Kim, it's enough said. It's all about how you view it, man. Twitter doesn't care what you say either. Of course they don't. Do you know why horse drug is bad? Emergency use authorization comes when you can only use this. Yeah, I'm not worried about it, man. I'm not worried about it. See, here's the thing, guys. I tell people this, and maybe there's some new viewers out there that don't know this, but I've got more inoculations inside of my body from my service. You know, it's like, okay, I think the only thing I did not take was the anthrax. I basically told them to go away. You want to make me non-deployable? Dynamite, make me non-deployable. I'm not getting that because I actually watched some young men lose the control of their arm that they received that in. And I was like, whoa. If that happens, like, well, that's 1 in a million. I've seen it 3 times. There's not a million of us. You know, so, yeah. That's the only one I didn't take. You know what I'm saying? And you can't sit there and say it does this, and this. Because I remember when we were all in our houses. I remember when I'm doing, like NBC protocols to desanitize or sanitize everything that was coming into my house. I had a plan just to go to Walmart to buy stuff. You know what I'm saying? Everything was getting wiped down. Everything was getting sprayed. Everything was getting taken off in the mud room and put into a plastic bag and then immediately into the washer with hot water. And I mean, I was going like full up chemical warfare protocol, you know? And it was like, we're working on it. I really hope. I remember sitting in my living room going, I really hope that they come up with a solution to this, and I'll definitely get it as soon as they do, you know. And then it just all fell apart. It just all fell apart, you know. So anyway, the renewal, it's still now, and it's an emergency again. We're renewing it. It's an emergency. Now, here's why. Let me tell you why this is actually happening. This is happening because there are buttloads of social programs that have made themselves dependent on this emergency. Let's see which ones. There's a couple of them for people going to school. It gives them money to go to school. Yeah, it's like $95 a month extra to go to school just because this is an emergency. It makes no sense, but that's what it is. See, what else? Oh, all those checks that everybody was getting? Yeah, now they can start issuing those checks again. And from what I can tell so far, there's actually plans to start doing that. Oh, we love you so much. Oh, thank you for our check. They're on the way. Vote for me. You know, I'm literally like waiting for this dipstick to go, I did that. It's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. All right, let's see. That's true, Sam. They got to buy the votes. But it's not going to work this time. I honestly believe. I think it's going to be close. I don't think it's going to be. I really want it to be this, like the red tsunami. Not because they're Republican. I'm more of an independent than a Republican, to be honest with you guys. But it's stupid. It's all stupid now. So, all right, let's go ahead and move off of that. And let me change the screen real quick. I got to check on something on my screen that you don't need to see. Let's go ahead. Oh, you guys are going to love this. Oh, you're going to love this. This is the magic. This is the magic of the world that we live in. Isn't that money from our trust? Honest question. From our trust as in trust fund or trust as in I trust you? I'm so sick of paying for those checks. Yeah, it's ridiculous. You guys have to understand that they don't freaking care. These, it's like, we need to spend more money. It's like, what do you... This is every time you print more money to spend more money, inflation goes higher. This is economics 101. This is something that, 18, 19-year-old kid learns in his first month of college. Okay? How do these people with all these freaking degrees, not understand what they're doing? They do. They completely understand what they're doing. So, by the way, my said contracted it after having the shot. I believe it, man. Did you know that the director of the CDC caught it this week? But it is funny, though. It is funny. So here's what's funny about it, and we're going to move off of that subject, okay? What's funny about it is that she doesn't have the jab. People within the CDC are not required to have the jab. You didn't know that? Now you do. She didn't have the jab. And so now when she recovers, which she will very quickly, actually, then it kind of takes all the air out of their little plan, doesn't it? Let's see. What do we got here? True. Yeah, that's a record. Good morning. I remember microwaving takeout food at home to supposedly kill germs. Yeah, true. I remember that too. Let's see here. I never got all of the stim checks and don't expect any in the future. I'm very unstimulated. Melody, that sounds like a personal problem to me. You know they have things for that, right? Okay, so one of the things that I wanted to show you, this came across one of my emails, and I don't know if I can open that. That's right, I could not open it because this service will send you like snippets from the email or snippets from an article that they wrote in your email. But they write so much, it's basically like reading the article. So I wanted you guys to see this. You're going to love this, all right? So, and also on the TikTok side, if you're not on the YouTube side, I will be playing videos today, so you might want to get your asses over there. Let's see here. Of course, they don't. Black Friday, tested positive. Saturday was sick, but fine after that. Now, there you go. Dark Wolf. There you go. Okay, so I want you guys to see this. U.S. citizens were given secret, decree violation scores. Ooh, what does that mean? Voter analytics firm PredictiveWise harvested location data from tens of millions of U.S. cell phones during the initial lockdown months and used this data to assign a decree violation score to the people associated with the phones. Hold on a second. There we go. These violation scores were calculated by analyzing nearly 2 billion GPS pings to get real-time, ultra-granular location patterns. People who were on the go more than their neighbors were given a high decree violation score, while those who mostly or always stayed at home were given a low decree violation score. What does that mean? It means that they used GPS from your frickin' phones, and they determined that if you were out and moving around, that you were bad for the lockdown. But if you were at home most of the time, you were good for the lockdown. So they literally created a social credit score using the GPS on your phone. Wow. Yeah. Let that one sink in a little bit. I think that's the big takeaway from this. It's not cool, man. It's not cool. I must be on the extreme level. Yeah, I mean, it never slowed me down. I did what I needed to do, during the initial parts of that little problem 2 years ago. But it never stopped me. I drove state to state. I did all sorts of stuff that I wasn't supposed to be doing. So, let's see here. What do we got next? We're going to go with this one right here. And this one came up on Morning Brew and says, Europe has a gas problem. Now, this is some of the kind of stuff that I've been talking about as far as the winter for Europe and and how they have a problem with natural gas and things like that. And we hit on it a little bit, but you know what? I need to change my screen. And that's what it looks like right there, guys. All right, let's see. Retransmit GPS location sharing. GPS alone is receive only. Retransmitting GPS location sharing. GPS alone is receive only. I don't know what you're talking about, my Cobra. I did not stay at home. I did what normally do, and I never got sick. They can keep their score. Nice. Okay. So Europe has a gas problem is the title of this article. It's actually pretty interesting. So here we go. But probably not the kind you're thinking of. After a summer of dire warnings about crippling energy shortages, Europe has the exact opposite problem on its hands. It has too much natural gas. What? How's that even possible? Dozens of ships are waiting to offload liquefied natural gas at European storage facilities, but they have nowhere to put it. Caverns are filled up to the brim, and given the ample supply, European natural gas prices have dropped more than 70% from their record high in August. This situation is certainly a relief to European leaders who feared that, that their move to reduce gas imports from Russia would lead to an energy crisis when the weather turned cold. So why hasn't that crisis materialized? 1. The weather hasn't turned cold. Many regions of Europe have experienced mild weather this fall, reducing the demand for heat. This is logical. 2. Europe's all-out effort to conserve energy is paying off. Demand for natural gas is down 7% year-to-date compared to the 2019-2021 average, per the think tank. But don't say mission accomplished just yet. Experts warn this gas glut could be temporary, particularly if the weather doesn't cooperate. It's gonna get interesting, Europe, guys. It's gonna get interesting, and you know those problems sooner or later they make their way over here. It was a couple weeks back I had told you about how they we're sending all of our gas. Gas is getting more expensive here because we're sending all of our gas, and it's costing them money to get all of our natural gas over to Europe. Okay. And now the ships are just sitting out there. So now the companies are really going to start. Now the companies are really going to start sitting out there. You know what's funny too? You remember how they talked about all the sailors that were stuck on the ships when we had all of our port problems here in America? Gee, I wonder if that's something that they're going to go through. I'm going to go with yes. But it is what it is. Oh, Trevor showed up in YouTube. Good job, Trevor. Good to see you, man. Make sure you hit that like, subscribe, and hit the bell. Gas is $2.99 to $3.99 here in Texas. Brandon, is that gas as in the kind you put in your car, or as in the kind that you put in your house? Petrol versus natural gas. Fuel. Well, that helped. Man, it is just way too warm. Anyhow, I got you, bro. It's gasoline. Petro, got you. Penny, no, not even a chance. Go lay down. You're not going to play this game with me. I put her out before we even started this, and she's got her body clock on. Let's go to the bathroom. So, all right. So it's something to think about too. And gas where you are in North Texas is $2.99 to $3.29. Man, you must be close to the frickin' right. Is your gas pump right outside of the where they make the gas or something? Because I'm wondering, man. Gas is definitely going down, but I tell you what, until they get it into the twos, I'm not hearing it, man. I'm not hearing it. So, okay, so I figured you guys would be interested in that. They do have a gas problem that they have to really think about. All right, so I cannot remember the order that I set these up in, so we're just going to go for it, and then we will talk about it afterwards. Are you having hot flashes? Yes, my menopause is kicking in, Catitude. No, it's actually really, really warm. I'm going to open some windows. The gas is not going to be the problem. The diesel is going to be the problem. Oh, Brian, we're going to talk about that. The diesel is a problem. We have a finite amount of days, is what I'm being told. So here we go.
I probably won't live to see the Dow make a new high. Certainly the NASDAQ. The problem is we just print money. Last year was really the worst inflation ever. I don't think I'll live to see the NASDAQ make a new high adjusted for inflation. I'll probably see it make a new high in nominal terms, but then, you know, everything goes up. If you have hyperinflation, I mean, look how high the Zimbabwe stock market went up in Zimbabwe dollars, but who cares about Zimbabwe dollars? And pretty soon, people might be saying, who cares about US dollars? It's pretty obvious that this is going to happen. The world is hemorrhaging right now from the dollar standard. The fact that the dollar has been so strong against the pound, against the euro, against the yen, that is exacerbating their problems. We are exporting our inflation to the rest of the world, and now they're having to deal with it. The problem is we just print money. We have these massive trade deficits. We're importing all this stuff. We're sucking up the goods. You know who gets this? Vladimir Putin. Listen to some of his speeches. He understands this parasitic relationship that we have with the world, where we just print money and we buy stuff. We don't have to make the stuff. The rest of the world makes the stuff. We just create the inflation to pay for it. We are spreading misery all around the world, and we are living off the fruits of the rest of the world. And the world is like, no, we don't want to do this anymore. There's going to be a revolution against this system, because the winner is the United States. The loser is everybody else. Now, you know, as an American, yeah, this was a good deal for us. But I know that it's not going to go on forever, because the rest of the world is not going to stand for it. And we've really pushed them in that direction recently by weaponizing the dollar. You know, the stuff that we're done recently, you know, with sanctions on Russia. This is just accelerating that process. How do you know for sure that positive real rates are needed? Why wouldn't 5% put downward pressure on inflation? So this is simple. The reason you have inflation, right? Governments create money. And you have spending. You have too much demand. Well, and you don't have enough savings. How do you change that? Well, if interest rates are positive, if I can earn a real rate of return, I'll save my money instead of spending it. And that's going to take away demand in the present, but it's going to increase supply in the future. Why? Because if I don't spend money, if I save that money is now available for capital investment. So businesses can take my savings and use it to build a factory to make more stuff. So the Federal Reserve has to discourage people from borrowing and encourage them to save. That's why we need high real interest rates. Well, let's say inflation is 8% and the Federal Reserve raises interest rates to 3%. Still negative 5%. Am I going to be incentivized to save money? I mean, yes, losing 5% is not as bad as losing 8%, but who the hell wants to lose 5%? If I know I'm going to lose 5% on my savings, I ain't going to save. I'm still going to spend. And so if the government is not cutting back on my spending, I'm still spending everything and saving nothing, they're not going to bend that inflation curve. You've got to encourage savings. Where is savings right now? It's the lowest it's been since the 2008 financial crisis. Americans are spending everything. And in fact, what does the government want to do? Gas prices are up. Oh, we need to give people more money so they can buy those, so they can pay higher prices. No, people have to buy less gas. That's what they need to do. We can't just give them more money to keep buying it. Then the price will keep going up. So the government is not allowing the free market to do what needs to be done. You know, we're a lot poorer because the government created all this inflation. We've got an enormous government that we've got to pay for. And how do we pay for all this government? Again, we don't get it for free. We're going to pay for it with a lower standard of living. Either we're going to have less money because the government takes our money, or we're going to have inflation because the government takes our purchasing power. That's it. There is no free lunch. Do you agree that all central banks should be dissolved, including the Fed? Yeah, I believe that the world would be better off without any central banks. Every country would be better off. The people would be better off. Governments like central banks because central banks help governments get bigger and manipulate economies. You don't want that. You want a free market. In a free market, you want the government to be as small as possible, and you want no artificial manipulation. You want free market forces in charge. That's how you have an optimal allocation of resources. That's how you have the highest collective standard of living, is in a free market. And central banks are an enemy of that. We don't need central banks. In fact, we need them now less than ever before. As I said, we can create our own monetary system based on gold, using blockchain, using the internet. Central banks have never been more irrelevant and useless than they are right now. We can create a medium of exchange, unit of account, store of value in the private sector, right? Everything you get from the private sector is better. It's more efficient, it's lower cost. The same thing with a monetary system. We don't need a government to create a monetary system. The free market can do it, and then the government can tax us. So if we're using gold as money, and then the government wants money to spend programs, they can tax us and take our gold and then spend it. But we don't want to empower governments to just create money out of thin air, because that lets them play Santa Claus. People think they get something for nothing. They don't. And if governments have to tax the people to pay for the things that the people want, all of a sudden the people won't want nearly as much stuff. As long as they think it's free, they want as much as they can get. The minute they realize they have to pay for it, they don't want it anymore. So no, we don't need any central banks. We can handle money on our own. What are your thoughts on taking out a mortgage to buy the GDXJ? Well, look, I mean, taking out a loan. Look, I have been discouraging people from leverage because of the possibility of margin calls and being liquidated. In fact, I think one of the reasons that we might have had such a big sell-off in the gold and silver stocks was because of how much leverage there was. People took on debt. And so it's a very dangerous thing. So I have just not encouraged people to do that. I think there's enough leverage in this trade. I think that people that get into gold stocks are going to make so much money. Can't guarantee that, but this is what I believe. I mean, I think some of these stocks can go up 50 times, 100 times. So with that kind of upside, you don't need leverage. Don't get greedy. Don't be a pig, right? Just invest what you have and you'll do fine, I think. You don't have to try to risk leverage and then potentially get, out of the game, and then you don't make anything because you got a margin call, you couldn't meet it, you had to sell your stocks at a ridiculously low price. So just invest what you have, and I think the returns will be good enough. Gold mining stocks in and of themselves are a leverage bet on gold. Why does it seem like 2008 so uniquely bad? People all over the political spectrum talk about how this is remnant of the global financial crisis. Pre-financial crisis didn't seem to have this carryover effect. Well, the reason is because of the amount of leverage that we have. Again, every time we get into a problem, the Fed covers up the problem with more monetary heroin, and then we have a bigger problem. And so we had a massive problem that erupted in 2008, and this one's going to be worse because we have a lot more debt now than we had then. That's why the problems weren't a crisis, because they hadn't developed to this degree. But now every problem is a crisis. That's why when they did QE the first time, they said it's a one-off event. We're never going to do it again. I knew in the beginning that that was a lie, that once they did it, they were committed. They had checked us into a monetary roach motel. There was no way out. I said it from day one. I said it in 2008, and I was right. And I warned about hyperinflation, and people were laughing at me because it hadn't happened. It just hadn't happened yet. It's going to happen, and even if it's not hyperinflation, it's going to be massive. We've already got the worst inflation in 30 or 40 years, and in fact, if they measured it honestly, last year was really the worst inflation ever. I've been teasing Penny, the hell out of Penny the entire time. I have her favorite treat on the whole planet, like right here, and she just can't. Don't you dare come up here and try to take that treat. She's like, I want it. I want it so bad. Sit. Come. Good girl. You want this treat? You want this treat? You want this treat? There you go. And now I won't see her for 20 minutes, maybe 30. She's run off into the place where she eats things quietly. Let's see. Boom.
I got this little advice. I don't think she understood what was happening. So I've got the Organized Pineapple is my moderator on YouTube, and I gave her these special powers yesterday, and she's doing a great job. And so she sends me this message. She's like, "Don't read out loud, because I'll read good." And then she gives me like a couple of other things that she's hitting to me about, and then so I messaged back to her. I said, "I read out loud for the TikTokers," and she goes, "You suck," with a happy face. I love me some Pineapple. She's good people. All right, what do we got here? All right, what do we got here? Mike again. Haha, I caught it before anybody else could say anything. Ha ha ha. I see, Hicktown Honey showed up. Nice. Don't forget to like and subscribe. You got to hit that bell. That way you know when I'm real. Let's see here. Bradley says, "I love letting my dog have pig's ear once in a while. Keeps him busy for 20-30." Yeah, exactly. It's like her favorite thing on the whole planet. So she'll pretty much, I won't say that I would say that makes her the craziest, is what I would say about that. Let's see here. People occasionally get work done. All right. Keep reading loud. I'm just listening majority of the time, Bradley says. Well, if you guys don't know anything about me, I'm going to do me. And I always tell people to do themselves. You be you, and that's just the way the world works. All right, let's see here. What do we have next? The country has... what we were talking about before. So, there's actually another video coming up here. So, I remember this because it was like a week ago. We talked about the country only having so much diesel left. So, I actually did a search. I'll change that screen for you real quick, guys, on the YouTube side. I actually did a little search. And within the past 24 hours, basically the same article is being regurgitated across. We've got Carson Scoops, Yahoo, MoneyWise, the Epic Times, NMK World. I mean, pretty much, if you can think of like news, it's all the same title. The U.S. has just 25 days of diesel, and it says, "But more is coming." Okay, whatever. My bulldog chokes on those. Well, don't give them to him. All right, let's see here. I'm going to push this button, and we're going to see what happens. I've got some things that I wanted to show you guys, but I didn't want you to kind of like freak out. I don't know. Has anybody else noticed? And there's like, I follow some really, really niche YouTube developers. Some of them are just, they reproduce, or should I say they republish videos from like the 1950s and the 1960s on like how to protect yourself from nuclear war, this like the old grainy cartoons. I'm seeing a lot of those pop up in my feed, and I might actually reproduce them just so that, because some of these are so niche you'll never find them. Like, give me a link. Yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll stop doing everything I'm doing right now and give you a link. But some of these things are so niche, it's like you will never find them. They have like 3 or 4 followers, and they somehow have access to this database of like ancient videos that no one has seen since forever. So I've got an idea. I think I'm gonna keep doing that, and I'm gonna get those out to you guys on the YouTube side. So TikTok, if you're not in my YouTube, you need to get your ass over there. I've got one that I'm going to show you. I've already got it queued up and ready to go. And it is educational. And oddly enough, I found one that is super educational that I'm going to produce later today on how to handle food in a nuclear fallout scenario. And this is like no joke, from the 50s. And it's like mind blowing. I never thought, how do you process a potato that has fallout on it? Yeah, there's a way to do it. And it's simple. It's all logic. It's all common sense. You're going to be like, are you freaking kidding me? No way that works. And you're like, yep. It's going to be like one of those videos where like somebody does something backwards. Like, you don't actually write with this end, you write with this end. Watch. No, that can't work. and then son of a bitch. You know, it's going to be like that. That's going to be one of those kind of moments you're about to have. But in this one in particular, this one talks about fallout and how to deal with it at the most basic human level, going back and forth to work, what happens with this, what happens with that. I'm going to show this video to you, and then we're going to talk about it a little bit. I've got some notes written down here that I want to talk to you guys about, Miss Melody says, I've been seeing those old publications from like 1970. Yeah, well, these are even older. These are even older, which is like really cool. So let me go ahead and get that queued up for you real quick. I'll make the screen bigger. And if you're not on the YouTube side, I don't know what to tell you guys, man, because it's like, you just have to listen, I guess. I just guess you just have to listen. Let's see here. We're going to go ahead and hit the... we're going to hit this. Which button is it? Which button is it? Which I'm going to go with that one. That one looks good. Yeah. Let's do that button.
But also from fallout. Fallout, which may occur miles and miles away from the blast. You need to know about fallout, what it is, how to detect it, and what to do to protect yourself against it. Everybody needs to know. Yes, this does mean you. Watch and listen. One day, these facts may save your life. What is this fallout, anyhow? Just bits of radioactive fall out of the mushroom cloud of the nuclear explosion and settle on the ground. These bits of matter can be dangerous. You're exposed to some radiation every day, from cosmic rays or other natural sources of radiation. These exposures are too small to hurt you. But when a wartime nuclear explosion occurs, a serious fallout follows. Thousands of tons of atomized earth, building materials, rocks, and gases may be thrown into the air. And the mushroom cloud containing them sometimes moves as high as 100,000 feet, nearly 20 miles up. Some of the radioactive particles spill out near the explosion site. Others may be carried for 10, 50, 100 miles or more. But how will you know if there is fallout? You can't hear, smell, taste, or see the radiation. But you yourself can detect the fallout particles that produce it. The easiest time to do this, without special instruments, is when the fallout is settling through the air. This starts any time from about 1/2 hour to several hours after the explosion, depending on how far away you are. And it continues to fall for an hour or longer. Usually you can see the fallout. So if there has been an explosion of a nuclear weapon within a few hundred miles of you, you should suspect every unusual concentration of dust in the air of being fallout. After an explosion in daylight, watch any unusual accumulation of dust. At night, put a white or light-colored plate outside. Examine it every 15 minutes or so. If dust is accumulated on the plate, treat it as fallout. The particles in that fallout behave like miniature X-ray machines, sending out radiation in all directions. If there are many particles, and if you are exposed to them long enough, you will be hurt. Others will be watching for that fallout, of course. Experts will estimate the probable path and speed of approaching fallout and try to keep you posted. But it may come before you hear any details by radio or otherwise. You must take precautions, whether you hear their reports or not. If radio stations are operating, you will hear reports, especially on the Conelrad frequencies 640 or 1240 on your AM dial.
And we're going to talk about this afterwards. They don't exist anymore.
It is safe for specially protected crews to get out into the open. These highly trained civil defense radiation detection teams will make a thorough check of radiation levels and characteristics. Those facts will be relayed to you by radio as fast as they come into civil defense headquarters in your area. Information from the radiation monitoring teams will be combined and analyzed by experts manning a central radiation control point. These experts, who know just how fast harmful radiation reduces in force, can predict when it will be safe for people to come out of shelters and resume normal tasks. We have warned that you may have to act before you get any detailed reports. Just what can you do if fallout comes your way? Find the best shelter you can. The more solid substance you can put between yourself and the fallout, the better. But an ordinary frame house with windows closed will give considerable protection. In a house, it's best to get on the floor, away from doors and windows. Or if you can, find a location with additional walls in the center of the building. A basement is even better if the house has one. Large buildings, such as apartment or office buildings, give good protection. The thick, heavy masonry of their walls and floors makes it hard for radiation to get through. Basements, inside rooms, or corridors on the lower floors are safest. The basement of any house or building will become a good improvised shelter if you block the windows with sandbags and place other sandbags on the floor above the shelter area. If you don't have sandbags, thick, solid layers of books, magazines or newspapers, or even a series of file cabinets standing close to each other can cut the radiation danger. In some parts of the country, there are storm cellars or outside vegetable storage cellars. They may be used as shelters from fallout. If you plan to use such a cellar or your basement or any other shelter, stock it with food and supplies. To equip and supply your shelter area, you need some of the same things you might take on a vacation camping trip. First, sleeping equipment to fit your shelter area. Folding cots or sleeping bags and blankets. Then, food and water. There should be at least a 2-week supply. You'll want plenty of fruit juices and lots of your family's favorite canned foods. The drinking water supply should be rotated often to be sure it's fresh. And don't forget such basic needs as sugar, salt, pepper, and other seasoning that your family ordinarily uses. Now, some equipment. A radio is very important. It should be a battery portable with spare batteries. A transistorized radio is best, as the batteries last longer. Next, you need light in the form of flashlights and a battery-operated lantern. Then, a good first aid kit. Now, plates, cups, silverware. A can opener and a bottle opener are important. Add to these things enough closed containers to take care of garbage and human waste. Especially if there will be children in the shelter, include some books and magazines, paper and pencils, maybe 1 or 2 small, simple games. The best protection of all is the special shelter built according to specifications of your local civil defense organization. This has an air filter to allow ventilation, but keep dust out. And it has at least 3 feet of earth over it. It would be a good idea to go right now to your local civil defense office to secure plans for the type of shelter you want, and then to get busy on construction. Plans are simple, using standard materials. So maybe you can do the job yourself. But all this special shelter talk won't help very much if you are caught way out on the open road. If that happens, keep driving until you see a building, which may be a house or barn, church or school. Drive as close to the building as you can. Then get yourself and your family out of the car and take cover in the building. If you live on a farm and have sufficient warning, get your animals under cover and give them enough food and water to last several days. And if you can, cover any piles of hay or harvested crops that may be outside. If the explosion has been some miles away, you will have time to fill tubs and other containers with water before fallout arrives. All locations where outside dust does not penetrate will be safe storage points for water. Whatever kind of shelter you find, settle down and make the best of it. If there are others with you, help them by being as calm as you can, and don't be discouraged. You can go out for very brief periods if you are well covered and keep the dust off your skin. Wear heavy boots or shoes and pants tucked in or tied around the bottom to keep dust out. If any dust gets on you, brush it off promptly. And when you have a chance, wash it off. That dust can burn your skin. But what happens if you do get exposed to a great deal of fallout? Food or water has been contaminated by the dust, internal damage may occur. When dust has been left on skin, there will be skin burns. When you have been near dust too long, there may be radiation sickness. Exposure can even cause death. If you have had considerable exposure, you will vomit and grow weak. But after a few hours, this sensation will pass, and by the next day, you may have had the last of it. Even if you have been exposed to excessive fallout, you may eat and drink just as you normally would. But don't force yourself. Whether you have had these symptoms or not, if civil defense radio announcements have said that radiation has been high in your section, keep an eye on your condition for the next few days. Watch especially for these developments in the 2 weeks following exposure. Return of nausea, sore throat, bruise spots developing without any known reason, loss of hair. These conditions, or nosebleed, or diarrhea, should be reported to a doctor or to the nearest first aid station set up under civil defense plans. Unless civil defense teams have warned that your area is still dangerously radioactive, you can get out and work to help yourself and help others. Although fallout can be deadly, your chances of avoiding damage from it are much better if you follow the directions we have given you. During an alert, keep your portable radio tuned to the Conelrad radio frequencies, 640 and 1240 on the AM dial, for the latest reports and advice. Right now, today, before there is an alert, take time to learn the Civil Defense 5 steps to safety. Learn warning signals and what they mean. Learn your community plan for emergency action. Learn protection from radioactive fallout. Learn first aid and home emergency preparedness steps. And learn how to use Conelrad, 640 or 1240 on the AM dial for official directions.
Mike. And okay, so it's always pretty interesting to find out that it's like if you were not a product of the Cold War like I was, then you don't know about these kind of things. And obviously this was well before my time. In fact, this one was from 1959. Let's see here. We were actually watching Until You Get Banned one. I thought I'd answer that question already. Harper Beam, good morning. And yeah, they're on TikTok side. Why are you guys being so lazy? I'm over here like moving stuff around, trying to like read stuff to you, and I'm still sitting at measly 7,800 likes. I mean, come on, I seen like 10,000 likes out of like 12 people. So I don't know why you're slacking. And then on the YouTube side, I'm not even going to check, but I know that you guys are on it, man. Let's see here. Somebody asked that question. Okay, so and I knew this question was going to come up, Tracy. Are 640 and 1240 AM still correct? No, that is not what they're used for anymore. Those are just radio stations now. Where are we at here? I think I actually have those fired up for you because I knew this question was going to happen. All right, so the Conelrad. All right, hold on a second here. I'm going to pull that up so you guys have a graphic representation of it. And now I must switch screens. There we go. Okay, so the Conelrad, as you can see on the screen, TikTokers, if you're not on my YouTube channel, the Conelrad was the control of electronic radiation. And this was like, hey, we are expecting this to happen. This is how we're going to talk to you guys and get information to you. Well, the Conelrad was replaced by what some of you may still think exists, the emergency broadcast system. Okay, and the emergency broadcast system, that actually went out. It was dissolved in 1997. Am I showing you guys this? I am. And then that was replaced by the emergency alert system. Now, the emergency alert system is like it's very digital. You may remember they were talking about we're going to plug this into all the stations, and then we found out you remember they tried to test it like 2 years ago, and like nothing happened. No, it was on like very, very few stations. Come to find out, it's not on every station. Yeah, that's super effective. But I also think that they push that. They're kind of pushing that more towards the internet, the Internet of Things, and everybody's got a TV on their screen now, things like that. What the hell? That's not me. That's interesting.
This is a test of the emergency alert system. This is only a test. The message you are hearing is part of a nationwide live code test of emergency alert system capabilities. This test message has been initiated by National Alert and Warning Authorities in coordination with emergency alert system participants, including broadcast, cable, satellite, and wireline participants in your area. Had this been an actual emergency, the attention signal you just heard would have been followed by emergency information, news, or instructions. This is only a test. We now return you to regular programming.
Okay, now that we've returned to regular programming and I have all of your attention, glad you were talking about that. This happened on local TV station. Yes, little bits. Little bit stormy. Yeah, they heard you. No, Laser. Actually, I did that myself. You can find things on the internet that would blow your mind. I actually did a video. I may just repost it. We'll see. But it's interesting that people think that it's just because I honestly believe that like Amber Alerts and Silver Alerts are better than our emergency alert system. But yeah, I knew that question was going to get asked, so I made sure that I had that stuff available. Excuse me. Let's see, I saw Homesteady Rescue. How can I cheap and easy way to build an outside root cellar? Oh, excuse me. Gotcha. I want a root cellar so bad. Let's see here. Yeah, I actually did a video sometime back. I may have to dig it up where I scared the shit out of some people. It's some pretty. I think I'm gonna have to dig it up. Anyway, let's see. Let's see what else do we got here. Let me fix this screen real quick. And we've gone over 2 hours so far, but I think I'm feeling strong. I think I'm gonna pour me some more coffee here. I think that's what I need to do. Still full. I am still sore as hell. from yesterday's workout. If you guys are not in the Patreon, then you don't know that I've started to do workouts for the Patreons. Very simple stuff. Started with the Marine Corps Daily 7, added a few exercises to it. Did it on did it live for them, so the humiliation factor is definitely in there, and letting them know that I may have all my shit in one bag as far as preparedness. One of the things that I've slacked on is physical fitness, and I think that we all need to look at that in more than just, I think I'll do it. I think we actually need to take action and do it. I don't have time. Whatever, dude. If you have time to play video games, or if you have time to, you got frickin' time. It's that easy. You got time. So, let's see. In the big city, I'll not be able to do that. They said it. Yep. That sucks. You can't do a root cellar in a big city. But what you can do is you can, if you live in the older buildings, they have basements. Some of them more than one basement. What do we got here? Harper Beam says, buy a weather radio that monitors the NOAA weather stations for emergency news. Absolutely true. I also tell people to get the, I'm going to grab one since I got time. I also tell people to get your hands on one of these. The UV5Rs are the basic standards, and then just learn to program them.
Channel mode. Friday night, northeast winds 15 to 20 knots with gusts to 25 knots. Waves 3 to 4 feet. Saturday, northeast winds 15 to 20 knots with gusts to 25.
And now you have a weather radio. So I tell people to get their hands on those. If you like, I can tell you where to pick one up, how to build one properly. It doesn't take but a second, because the one that they sell you for $27 is missing a few things that you actually need to make that radio worth your time and money. Let's see here. Oh my God, LP. I was so... I'm going to laugh. Melody, YouTube has blocked you from saying that. Melody says, oh my God, LP, I was so stiff last night. That's too funny. Let me pull my mask down to pickle my liver and smoke my cancer stick, but scared about the coof makes no sense. There's a lot of things that make no sense, Window Liquor, but I mean, the one thing I like about Window Liquor is he's got he's got some deep dark sarcasm, but he spits a lot of truth too. He keeps us on our toes. Don't even know if we have an emergency alert system here in Perth. You might want to look that up. Australia, Annie's Kitchen and Urban Homestead. I'm gonna have to look you up, Annie. And I'm going to come back to it. That's just too long. Your name is too long, Annie. Your YouTube name is too long. What's Richard saying? I have a cellar. It's great for food storage. Also can double as a storm shelter. Yeah, I mean, every prepper wants a bunker. I think that's the golden. That's the gold standard for preppers is the bunker. Something that they can hide in with all their stuff. Let's see here. All windows taste the same. That's hilarious that you say that. So his name is Window Liquor Prepper, and your name is Logo. Logo 1993. All windows taste the same. Let's see here. I was surprised being in Texas that none of the new buildings have a storm cellar or shelter with the tornadoes we get. Yeah, I know. You have to buy that. That's crazy. Your exercise routine was tough. Got it done, but I am really feeling it today. I'm feeling it mostly in my right in my hips, the muscles that connect my hips to my belly. Let's see. Okay. Looks like okay. Take it easy, Pineapple. We'll talk to you later. I meant from the workout. Of course I know what you meant, Melody. Come on. But YouTube did not. What exercise routine do you do? Jordan, I actually do the daily 7 and add, flutter kicks, like 3 core exercises. That's what I've started doing. But yeah, when you haven't done that in a while, yeah, your stuff gets a little tight, you know. But that's the problem right now. Now tomorrow I'm going to be in a lot of pain, you know. So it should be fun for the Patreons to watch and giggle at. I know that there's a handful of them that actually needed to be pushed a little bit, so I decided to help out. Let's see. I'm in the process of putting solar panels out to have a refrigerator down. Oh God, that was a bad yawn. All right. Let's see down there. The way grade goes down. So power. There you go. I do the Navy too. You're all right, Trevor. Don't worry about it. Let's see here. Oh, let's see. Okay, so what else do we have in the queue? I've got a couple other things queued up. I honestly don't remember what video number 2 is. No pain, no gain, Bradley says. Oh, yeah, exactly. It's actually funny to watch me suffer. I went back and watched it. I was like, oh, my God, I'm such an idiot. But let's see here. I'm going to push button number 2, and we're going to see where that takes us. Okay, button number 2. Here we go.
Well, have you been paying attention to what's happening in Europe with energy crisis and protests and climate lockdowns? Well, if you live in the United States, that's coming soon to a theater near you because the United States is facing an energy crisis of its own, ill-timed, just a few days before the election. This comes straight out of the mouth of the White House economic team, and yet the mainstream media is pretty much ignoring the story because they don't want it to hurt the Biden administration and Democrats in the upcoming weeks. So the White House economic advisor, Brian Diaz, says we are facing a diesel shortage. Epic Times did cover this story. Here's the headline. It says, the U.S. only has 25 days of diesel supply. Shortage could cripple economy. Now, recall that there will be less fuel in circulation starting November 1st because that's what OPEC Plus voted on. So energy is hard to come by these days. You can't just turn on the tap and it comes. The whole global supply chain.
Actually, you could turn on the tap and it would come if you would allow it to.
Yeah.
You wouldn't shut down a Keystone pipeline and allow drilling to take place and actually not sanction Russia. You could turn. Oh, and also don't blow up the tap, like in the case of Nord Stream.
Yeah, all of those things. Yeah, you're right. You could do that if you were playing sanely.
Right.
With the plumbing, but they're not, right? So here's a shot out of that article. It says the country is down to 25 days of diesel supply with stockpiles at their lowest level for this time of year in records going back to 1993. In the Northeast, where more people burn fuel for home heating than anywhere else in the country, also use a lot of fossil fuels for cooking. Inventories are a third of their typical levels going into winter. National Economic Council Director Brian Deese called the levels unacceptably low. By late October, diesel prices had risen for more than 2 weeks to 50% above where they were a year ago.
Oh, those prices are cheap. 50% more for diesel?
Yes.
Holy smokes.
Now, most of your transport of the things that you know and love, most of the things that you can just reach out and touch around your desk where you're sitting right now are shipped to you on trucks,
right,
most likely that run on diesel. So this means no more of that if things shut down, or at least much less of that. No gasoline transport of, delivery vehicles. No Amazon, no Walmart.
I got a question, though. That makes zero sense. You know why? Because it takes less to refine diesel than it does regular fuel. So how is that possible?
How is what possible? What part of that?
That
they don't have enough?
That there's going to be a shortage of it. It just seems like that is planned, because if it takes less resources to make diesel, it would be easier to make diesel, and in theory, it should be cheaper.
Yeah, but I mean, if you don't have the crude, if you've shut down you've shut down drilling, you've hammered your ability to get access to the raw materials, you can't refine anything.
And
Well, right,
you
but
hate
then how do they
everybody,
have
so you
regular gas,
sanction
though?
everywhere that you would get it.
Well, I guess. I mean, they're also
Because if
having
that were the
gas-
case, they'd be like, we're going to run out of all gas, period.
Well, we do. We are running. I mean, we just had another announcement earlier this week. We didn't cover it on the show, but the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, the Biden administration is rolling out more in time for the election because we don't have enough gasoline. I mean, that's why we're seeing, $4 a gallon. David, you're out in Alaska, right? What are you guys paying for?
Washington State.
What? So you're out in Fairbanks out there. What are you guys paying for gas out there right now? Do you know?
About $5.65, I think, was what I filled up last.
Wow.
$5.65.
Yeah, that was this morning.
Holy smokes. What about you guys in the chat? Let us know what part of the world you're in. What are you paying for petrol? What are you paying for gas right now? It's
But I don't know how
unbelievable.
my neighbor Sarah Palin, she gets it for like $3.50, and I have no idea how she's doing it. I think she's directly importing it from Russia. I think she has like a direct line.
Well, she can see Russia right from her front porch. So
I can't from my yard, even though it's my neighbor. But
you're so close there. So no Walmart, no Amazon packages, no food, no stores, no getting to work. Think about empty shelves, food supplies. Not getting to stores. Truckers that I was reviewing today were saying, we can't afford to do this. We can't. We're losing money. We cannot afford to do this. No coal to the electric companies, right? So, who do you think powers those cars, those electric cars, right? It comes from coal.
Yes. Yeah,
it comes from coal, and it comes from the transport. So you need to transport the coal to the electric company in order to make the power your electric vehicles.
And we spoke last week about how now the barge in the Mississippi River is the barges are not able to run because of low water levels. So 2,000 boats were stranded that would otherwise deliver coal, which is needed for fuel in other regions. This diesel shortage, it focuses on the Northeast, but the rest of the country will also hurt for all of these things.
Yeah, no electric, no furnace, no heat for winter, no lights, etc. And by the way, New England already rationing heating even before peak winter. Bloomberg today writing fuel stockpiles in New England are a third of seasonal norms. Actually, it's from October 21st. High cost forces consumers to partially fill heating oil tanks, so they're not even filling them up. And costs have skyrocketed, all because the U.S. is sanctioning Russia. But don't worry, Biden says he's lowering energy costs today. Listen.
By bringing down the cost of everyday things they have to work their families through. It's not just food and energy, which is critical. We brought down the cost of energy.
Oh, you did? What planet are you living in?
No, because Jean-Pierre had said that recently. We're going to bring down the price of other things. And actually, they mentioned because Medicare premiums are going down, you'll have more room in your budget, by saving that $13 a month. Or whatever the premium is lowering. Although I did have a viewer write me that said Medicare premiums are going down, but not Part C and Part D, which is interesting. I think we should look into that. Thank you for that tip. But they really think that these little things over here will make up for the big price increases over here. Maybe that's how the federal budget, runs their books, but American families can't.
No, and Jean-Pierre.
Well,
speaking go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, I looked at average prices of gasoline because I remember a time when diesel was always cheaper than gas, right? And at some point it shifted. And looking back in like the 80s, it was like $1.25 for unleaded and 82 cents for diesel. And even in 2002, it was $1.56 for unleaded premium and 84 cents for diesel. Wow. So when was this switch so much more expensive than regular gas?
Yeah, it is crazy. I mean, because if you look at for a barrel of crude oil, we talked about crude a minute ago, right? A barrel of crude oil and according to the data from the EIA.gov, U.S. petroleum refineries produce an average of 11 to 12 gallons of diesel fuel from each 42-gallon barrel of crude oil.
Frosty Youth says $9 a gallon for diesel in California.
Wow.
Whoa.
Wow. So I'm looking at this chart. It says it's 2004 is when it happened. Unleaded was $1.90 and diesel went up to $1.24. So that's where it started to flip. So what happened then?
In what year?
2004, he said.
2004. That's interesting. I don't know. Nothing stands
2004,
out to me.
2005, sorry.
Nothing stands out to me. The cost, I mean, other than, of course, we were at war. We were at war in Afghanistan and Iraq. So maybe it was the amount of fuel being consumed by our military and the refining capacity in Iraq that, oil fields on fire. Maybe that was it. I don't know. That's just the only date that kind of stands out in my brain. But
I moved to Portland in 2004, but I don't think that had anything to do with it.
Probably not, but you might. You never know.
Maybe.
So I don't know. Did you have a diesel car?
I did not.
No,
we
had one.
Pickup.
Which one of our cars was diesel? The Tiguan?
One of them, yeah. I don't know. I forget. So all of these lies. So you mentioned Jean-Pierre, and so she was on the podium today, and all of these lies that the Biden administration continues to spin around energy costs is just amazing. Watch.
The president will continue to do everything he can to lower prices.
So that's a little short here. He's going to do everything he can to continue to lower prices, even though they're going up. So, you mean like going to Saudi Arabia and fist bumping the Saudi prince? Like that really helped because now OPEC is.
Well, she was just saying a couple weeks ago how gas was going down faster than it ever has in world history.
Right.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah. It's amazing what their short memory. So these reporters have basically had enough of all of this. Watch this on this same question.
Today, the president seemed to be countering some of this GOP messaging on the economy, and he told people that Republicans like to call Democrats big spenders, and people should look at the facts. But the facts don't seem to be exactly how he's painting it on some of these issues. He has claimed repeatedly that the administration reduced the deficit, but if you break it down, spending was high because of the pandemic, those programs expired, and that brought down the deficit, and then that deficit reduction was spent on canceling student loans. And then on the jobs claims that he made, he said that President Trump was the first since Hoover to lose jobs during his administration, but and he claimed that he had created 10 million new jobs, but in reality, those jobs have mostly been added back, and the Bureau of Labor Statistics says only about 514,000 jobs have been newly created. So how are people supposed to take this kind of messaging on their most important issue seriously when some of this feels like smoke and mirrors?
Well, let me tell you what the American people should take very, very seriously. Let me remind you of the Trump tax cut of 2017, $2 trillion that was not paid for. Not paid for. So I want to be very clear about that.
Okay. So this is the messaging they're coming out with now over the past 24 hours. I've seen this from a couple of Democrats. Oh, it's the Trump tax cuts. That's the reason we're in. So it was first it was the pandemic, then it was Putin's price hike, and now it's Trump's tax cuts. That's why we're facing these higher gas prices.
I don't know, but that reporter nailed it on all of the sort of smoke and mirrors to her point, or just like she laid out the math points that they are giving and said, yes, these are spun to look a certain way, but when you peel back the math, it's pretty easy to see it's not progress, right?
No.
So the question itself, there was nothing she could have said to answer that because that reporter nailed it.
Well, when Nancy Pelosi this weekend was asked about inflation, Nancy Pelosi, I think, probably has the best answer on inflation right now. What are we going to do? Here's her answer.
And the fact is that when I hear people talk about inflation, as I heard him there, we have to change that subject. Inflation is a global phenomenon. Yes. The EU, the European Union, the UK, the British have a higher inflation rate than we do here. It's not, the fight is not about inflation. It's about the cost of living.
Okay.
And the fact is
so we need to change the subject. So when someone brings up inflation, you just need to change the subject. That's what we need to do. She is right.
Thanks.
She is right that it's higher in Europe.
Well,
I mean, it's going to.
I love that. Oh, sorry. We have to change the subject because it's global. But like, if you talk about like climate change, does that mean that they have to change the subject because it's a global phenomenon? Like anything that's a global phenomenon, we now can't talk about.
Right.
Like, what the hell is that?
Because it's worse over there, so we should feel better about how bad it is here. Like, it's not as bad as what it is in Latvia right now, and Estonia, 20%.
Even though economic models predicted based on certain actions that your party has taken that we would get here. Right. I mean, it doesn't take a genius. President Trump, on the day he left office, said, have fun with those $7 gallon price gas prices by, right? And so economic models have been telling us we would get here. Okay. And you take no responsibility.
Well, and no mention of that this all being our influence. Like a lot of what's going on over there is our fault. But still.
Oh, no. Ignore all of that. Just change the subject.
Well, we're leaders when we want to be.
Yeah.
It's a phenomenon, whatever she said. Phenomena.
It's a funk phenomenon.
Okay, so let's see. There's a lot of stuff. I love Window Liquor. He was talking about how there's what is it? 3 years ago, diesel was under $2 per gallon. So all of a sudden, we ran out of dinosaur bones and decomposed plants. He says he's not buying it, and then he says, "Oh, term limits. Speaking of dinosaur, 90% Nancy is proof." There's a dinosaur bone right there. Let's see here. And we had some comments over on the TikTok side as well. I'm sorry, you don't have to shut up, Window Liquor. If you say something dumb, YouTube will just censor it for me. Let's see. America first. Yeah, okay. Fossils. Yeah, well, I mean, it is... My Hemi still hurt. Well, I'll see you tomorrow, Barb. They're going to hurt again. It's going to ache so bad. Let's see here. I do have one more video for you guys, but I don't want to video the hell out of you. Looks like we lost like 10 people out of the YouTube, which is ginormous for YouTube, but it is what it is. I think what we have to do is we need to remember that there's nothing that we can do about the current fact that, or the current statement that we basically have 25 days worth of diesel left. Some articles are saying, but we have more coming. You know, I would not think that the administration would be so foolish, so close to an election, to well, another thing that I ponder, and I'm going to kind of diverge for a second here, that there's a possibility that, and can you link that last video? Yes, I can, Melody. I can't do it right now because I edit the videos on the side so that I can push a button here. Otherwise, you'll get all sorts of stuff on your screen from YouTube. So let's see. And I want honest answers. I only want honest answers, okay? A yes if you've thought of this, a no if you have not thought of this. So here's the question. What if those people out there on the fringe know that it's over? They know that come first weekend in November or something like that, you know what I'm talking about, that it's all over with. So wouldn't it be beneficial for them politically to time or stage crises that would happen after they lost, so that they could say, see, this is what happens when you vote red. Huh. Has anybody thought of that? I'll wait for the answers. Everybody's saying yes, 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 yes. Whatever. You did not wake up this morning and say that. TTBRD lady. TTBRD lady. Good to see you here. Yep. So everybody, talk about like-minded. So those are the things that we have to think about. Let's not waste a lot of time thinking about those things. But it's important to realize that is one possible strategy. I honestly don't think that they're that smart. I really don't. I think that this is all a giant shitstorm that they have spun up, and now everybody is seeing these people for who they are, and I think that's all that's really happening. I think both sides are full of crap. Yes, truly. But one side we can force to do things, the other side we cannot. Let's see. What else we got going on here? We have, looks like 24 minutes left. Maybe the government is just trying to help. Oh, shut up, Doomsday. We're the government. We're here to help you. Yeah, it's interesting to think of things those ways, but it's not productive for us. It's not productive for us because the more time we spend thinking or communicating or lashing out or posting about those kind of things, then that's less time than we have to do the things we need to do. You know, for instance, all of my preps that I purchased yesterday are still sitting on the kitchen table and need to be organized and put away and rotated properly. I still have to work on my potato seeds. I've still got to come up with my plan to live on sprouts for a week, that's not a prep, obviously. That's just something I'm doing. I do need to, let's see what's on the schedule. I do need to recharge all of my batteries today, and I do need to do some work outside. Looks like the weather may let me do that. So, you know, instead of thinking about those crazy-ass things, then we need to just make a list and go frickin' do it, you know. They don't have to solve exactly. They are the problem. All right, let's see here. They always have something. Both sides are full of crap. All right, let's see here. Let's see. All right. Well, I tell you what, we've got a little bit more time left. I have another button to push. I want to thank everybody for sticking around. On the TikTok side, I need you to get that up to 15K, guys. I need you to get that to 15K. Unless TikTok is lying to me and only showing you guys what the true numbers are, it only takes but a second. Also, I've failed to recognize my Patreons, which I should have done in the first hour. If you're not a Patreon, if you're not in the Patreon, that means you're not inside the inner circle. These are the people that keep me going every single day. We've created this community of very like-minded individuals who are teaching each other and communing with each other every single day. I've never had so many people tell me good morning in my entire life. And it's pretty awesome. So if you're interested, the link is in the bio or in the description on the YouTube side. It's $3 a month. It's less than the cost of a small Starbucks iced coffee with nothing in it. So, and in return, you get a gigantic library or a repository of information for prepping. And thank you very much, Jordan. I appreciate it. It only says 15.2 on my side. TikTok is always shortchanging me, man. They're always trying to play with me, man. They're always trying to shut me down. Hold on a second. We got a best adulting game site. Let's go ahead and report pornography. Report. Okay. What we got here? We're gonna report these guys. Report. Unwanted spam. There's gone. Okay. One more. Let's get rid of this guy in another way. Let's go ahead and report him to, let's say he's misinformation. Report. Oh, they'll probably tear him apart for misinformation. And obviously that's pornography. So we're going to report that guy. Pornography. Boom. Okay, so we shouldn't see him anymore today. Let's see what we got here. Let's see. Not at the border. I don't see that house. Anyone tracking where Harris is today? I'm tracking AF2 headed toward Minot. PNW guy. Are you I'm looking at your icon there. Are you the guy that does the YouTube channel, the news? It's like NK News or something like that. Your icon is familiar. A yes or no, a simple yes or no will do. Or did you just come in here to try to promote your channel, which is, I get a lot of, and I think it's cool, but it's a little, I don't know. I don't even think it's shady the way you did it. I just think it's kind of foolish instead of just saying hi. So let's see here. Oh, let's see here. Oh yeah, winter liquor. You folks are awesome. Keep an open mind. There you go. Preparation removes my anxiety. I've done what I can. The rest is up to Jesus. There you go, Hicktown. I like that. You know, it's you're wasting a lot of time worrying about stuff you cannot control. That's what it comes down to. So do what you can, and that's it. Let's see. Did you see? Oh, West Virginia Pappy. Yes, I did. We talked about it in detail within the members, the members only chat on the Patreon. We have conversations about that kind of stuff all the time. But yes, I did see that. There were some that said that well, that only pertains to those 16 people. If you guys didn't know this, the New York Supreme Court ruled in favor of a class action lawsuit that said that basically they weren't allowed to fire them. They weren't allowed to fire these people that work for New York City based on the fact that they didn't get the thing. And in the court ruling, if you read it all, it's not just about those 16 people. It has significant ramifications to any employer who has ever said, you can't work for me because you didn't get that thing. Yes, 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 yes. So I can see this. And what's really ironic about it, did you see the Oz Fetterman? Robert, give me 1 second, bro. But the ironic part about it is it got released. The ruling came down and then released around 11 in the morning yesterday. No one talked about it. But it went out onto like mass dissemination onto the internet right around 2:00, which is right when old El Presidente was getting his brand new sticky spot, on YouTube with like 75% disapproval rate. If you guys didn't know that, you can actually see the thumbs down if you put an app on your browser. But yeah, it was like 240 up and like 700 something down. Yeah. Hicktown says it's gonna get ugly, and I'll be right in front row. But yeah, it's going to be significant nationwide, particularly in New York, because I believe they fired the most people because of that. So I can already see the individual as well as class action lawsuits that are probably lining up right now. They were probably just waiting for this decision to come down before they filed. Let's see here. I know, eyeballs and popcorn, right? And then Robert asks, I'm sorry I'm late to the show. Did you see the Oz Fetterman shit, that show? I did not. I saw some of the highlights on Fox. Fox is more palatable for me. I'm sorry. I just can't. One person can handle, regardless of position, so much Orange Man bad, which is pretty much all the other stations talk about. But anyway, so I did my hour of MSNBC this morning. That's the Orange Man bad channel, and all they talked about was when they tried to stay away from it, to be honest with you. But when they did talk about it, it was about how he's trying so hard, and he's just really a good guy. You know what I'm saying? And they didn't really have any. They literally went right to abortion. That's what they had to say about the whole thing. So let's see here. Let's see. Something just happened in the Patreon. What do we got here? Oh, Trevor, brand new Patreon. Welcome aboard, bro. I'm going to, as soon as this is over, you'll get a message from me on Patreon where I will try and get you. You've got to get in the Discord, bro. Get in the Discord and post something or message me or something. Get in the general, and then I'll find you, and then I'll be able to get you into the members only area. And then after that, then I can get you into the library itself, that repository of information. It's ginormous. I know I built it myself. It took days. It was pretty bad. Let's see. But yes, thank you, Trevor. And I won't let you down, man. What do we got here? Their talking points. There has never been a debate like that. Never once has there been a debate like that where one opponent was given the ability to use other elements that he completely failed to use. There was no audience. I did like the snippets that I saw where they had interacted and said, no, you're saying that, but in 2008 you said this, in 2014 you said that, and you were making like, I have never, but here you're standing saying, oh, I really love it, I honestly, one of the guys that taught me to be a Marine recruiter taught me a very valuable lesson that I use every day of my life now. It's a very simple one, and you might want to write this down. Just go write that down. Perception is reality, and the way he taught this to me was, we used to go. When I worked in the federal building, we would go downstairs and get cups of coffee. And every day, I would walk downstairs with him. He's like, "Come on, dudes." He was like an old Italian dude, and he would every day he would walk in, and they knew what he wanted, a cup of coffee, and they would make him get him these, those little cups of coffee. They're like $1 for, I don't know, it's like 8 ounces or something like that. And they would always come, "Hey, how you doing, Ronnie?" And he would take a sip of his coffee, be like, got his pinky in the air and everything, and be like, "I'm perfect in every way." And every single day he said that. Every single back to front. Shut up, Doomsday. Eccentric Nana, good to see you. But perception is reality. Now, when I glance at this guy, I immediately have to ask myself, like, okay, so what's wrong? Something's wrong, okay? And then I have to ask myself, this guy is the lieutenant governor of a state? How is that even possible? They had an opportunity. See, here's the thing. This is why this is all political bull. They had the opportunity when he had his stroke to change this guy out, to replace him with somebody that could get the job done. But no, that's not what they did. They did the same thing to him that they did to Uncle Joe. They kept him in the basement. They kept him quiet. Kept him away from public, so they couldn't. So the people could not see how bad off this guy is. And then they tried to, like, he's already operating on a diminished capability, a diminished ability to even function because of his stroke. He's already operating with that. So what's the media do? They try to prop him up. They try to, oh, well, we're gonna, what are the words that I'm looking for here? They tried to downplay the fact that his opponent was going to destroy him. They literally came out and said, "We know this is going to go great, but we're going to go do it anyway because this is what we need to do to get this guy in office so that we can control him." Already not competent. Now it's an excuse. There you go. So that's and I do plan on watching it. It's an hour and a half long. I just couldn't do it this morning or last night because I was out with friends last night. Wait a minute. Did Traveler get in general chat already? Where are we at here? Pioneer Cycle. We got a lot of people popping in here. Sorry, I need to make a personal Discord and I will join then. Thanks so much. Okay, Pioneer Cycle, whatever that means. Let's see here. They tried to manage expectations. Exactly. It doesn't work in the political world. It doesn't. Now, I know that they put this, that they were scheduled to have this on like almost every network in some way, shape, or form. So I know if they did that, it did not go well. People aren't stupid, you know. If your average 18-year-old voter is like, I'm so blue, and then they watch this guy and they're like, oh, they have to understand that he's operating at a diminished capacity, you know. So it's bad news. It's bad stuff. Perfect candidate for Congress. There you go. Yeah, it's almost as if they're picking people that they know that they can control. That's some scary shit right there. That is truly scary. All right, hopefully Trevor is doing his thing here, sending me a message. We got a friend request. There's Trevor. Trevor, got you, bro. Trevor, I need to open his profile. And I can't do anything. I'm just going to accept. And then I'm going to say, there you are. Your message to request. Accept. And we're going to wave to Trevor. And there you are. 1 sec. All right, let's see if I can figure out how to get this. Because it's such a pain in the ass to... They make it very difficult for you to assign privileges. Maybe he posted something out in general chat. At Trevor. There we go, Trevoridge. There we go, Trevoridge. Test. And hopefully I can now assign a role to this cat. There we go. And he is now in the Patreon. There we go. And then everybody's going to come. We're going to go have all the members welcome him. Everyone. Welcome. Trevor. Welcome. Trevor. All right, officially in. You're in the inner circle, Trevor. Good job. All right, so I'll get you hooked up with the library probably in the next few days. I've got to assemble a buttload of custom links for you. It takes 2 or 3 days. So either way, you do have full access to the Patreon website itself now. Basically, oh, my God, you're going to be... No, that's right. You can see all the workout stuff. Oh, let's see here. I got to send him a picture of that real quick. While we're just burning time right here, I have 6 more minutes left on this live stream, and then I got to go on and do some other things. So what questions do we have? I think I'll just open the forum here. It's now open forum. What questions do you have? And I will do my best to answer them for you. Trevor, messages. You can now see this. All right. Got that right. About time for us to start. Covey, good to see you, Covey, man. I don't know. I can't tell what those little icons are, but I'm sure they're kind of cool. I think one of them's like a UFO or something. Well, listen, I'm waiting for the questions to come in. I watched the White House press briefing yesterday. It was a shit show, guys. It was absolutely awful. They're asking her hard questions, and she was just like, so can you tell us about subject X? And then she's like, abortion bad, blah, 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 blah. Can you tell us about Y? Oh, remember when? You know, it's just ridiculous, you know? It was so stupid, you know? It's almost like not even, and she when she came into, she knew she was going to get beaten, like verbally beaten with these. There are more people inside the press corps that are asking questions. There's one dude, okay? So you know how like let's say you're back in high school, right? And you know there's this one dude that always asks a ridiculous question that is actually related to the subject. And you know he's going to ask a question, right? But you don't know exactly what it is. And it's like he's got his hand in the air, and the teacher doesn't want to, and then he's the only one with his hand in the air, right? And so he's he looks like a comedian. He's a black dude. He's all natural. He's poofed out afro, right? He's got like a gap, or it actually looks like a gap in his teeth. And he's got one of those smiles that is like everybody's gonna catch the joke, right? And he's like asking this. So, can you tell me about this, and this, and this, and what do you think? And he just sits there and smiles the whole time. It's absolutely hilarious. People are asking the hard questions in these press briefings, and the young lady who does the press briefings now, I think she's very good, but she's just way, way deep, too far out on the left side, man. Like way out there. It's and she came out, and after letting the guy talk about the thing we can't talk about for like a frickin' hour, right? She made a couple of statements, then she's like starts taking questions, and she knows today is the day I'm going to take multiple punches to the face. I know it's going to happen. So when that happens, you don't talk like this. You come out, you're like all mousy and stuff, like, oh, okay. So you know what we were talking about? She knew today was the day she was going to get, basically jumped into the game. It's pretty crazy. That damn truck is going to have to wait till I get back. I ran out of time. I know I'm ready. Finishing packing tomorrow. Okay, I got you. She's loading up that truck for prepper stock. You get a punch. You get a punch. You get a punch. Nice. Okay, so I've only got a couple minutes left. I think I'm going to go ahead and start to back out of this. And I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me for a couple hours. People wanted me to stick around longer. That's why I do the shows on Wednesday for 2 hours instead of 1. I think it's ironic that my day off now includes a morning live stream of workouts of me going, oh God, this sucks. How do I keep Patreons? How do I keep getting stuck with more stuff to do on my days off? This is funny. But I mean, it is what it is, and it's like, don't do that. Well, I would rather just sit here and eat cold pizza and drink beer, but that's not good for me. That's not good for me. So I have to do the things that are good for me. You guys make me do the things that are good for me, and then I get to make you guys do the things that are good for you. Let's see here. I think that's going to be it on the YouTube side. As usual, I will see you guys on the inside. If you're in the Patreon, I will definitely see you at the Inner Circle. And obviously tomorrow morning at around 8 a.m., you guys get to watch me suffer live. I think we're going to call it there on the YouTube side. So I'm going to go ahead and push this button over here. And YouTube people, I'll see you guys on the inside. That means inside the Discord, by the way. Bye-bye. On the page. If you like what I'm doing, go ahead and hit the link below. If it didn't take you directly to it, you can just hit the support page. That's what it should look like. All you have to do is either hit the Patreon symbol or the join button. Doesn't matter. Just hit it and that'll get you started. It's $3 a month for 30-ish days of work from me. The price of a Starbucks coffee. So until the next time, stay safe, have a great day, and I'll see you when I see you. Bye-bye.